Rightly said by Jim Rohn. Sharing makes you bigger than you are. The more you pour out, the more life will be able to pour in. We know that man is a social animal, and we live in a society where each one of us depends on the other for survival. Sharing is something that brings happiness not only to others but also to our own selves. And it is said that every time we share something with the needy, we bring ourselves closer to the Almighty. So today, I have a very beautiful story for you about sharing and caring. It is called The Selfish Giant, and the story is written by none other than Oscar Wilde. Born in Ireland in 1854, Oscar Wilde is, of course, an Irish dramatist, poet, and author in the late Victorian England. He was known for his brilliant wit and showy style. In 1891, he published his only novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, which is now considered to be his most notable works. Some of Wilde's famous plays include Lady Windermere's Fan, A Woman of No Importance, An Ideal Husband, and The Importance of Being Earnest. Talking about the story, The Selfish Giant, it is set in the giant's garden. When the selfish giant stops the children from playing in his garden, the garden turns white with frost. Spring never arrives in this garden. However, let us enjoy this story in detail and learn a few values and try to put those values in our lives too. While the giant was away, every afternoon the children in the neighborhood used to play in the giant's garden. The giant's garden was really beautiful with soft green grass and peach trees. When the giant returned, he got furious seeing the children playing in his garden. He drove the children out and built a high wall around the garden. He was selfish and obviously didn't want anybody to play in his garden. He also put a notice board saying, "Trespassers will be prosecuted." The children were very sad, for the garden was the only place where they could play. As time passed by, seasons changed, but in the giant's garden, there was no spring or summer. It was always covered with frost. Neither birds nor flowers could be seen there. The giant wondered as to why there was no spring in his garden. One morning, as the giant lay awake in bed, he heard some lovely music. It was a bird singing, and gradually frost and wind disappeared. The giant thought that spring had finally arrived in his garden too. As the giant looked out of his window, he saw that the children had crept in through a hole on the wall of the garden. In the farthest corner of the garden, a little boy stood beneath a tree. As he was too small to climb on the branch, he stood there crying bitterly. The giant slowly approached the little boy, picked him up, and put him on the tree. At once, the tree broke into blossoms. Birds came and sang on it. The little boy was so happy that he embraced the giant and kissed him. The other children too saw that the giant was not wicked any longer and came back into the garden. And with them, spring too came back. The giant realized his mistake and knocked down the wall. Every afternoon after school, the children came and played with the giant. But the little boy whom the giant loved was never seen again. As years passed by, the giant turned old. One winter morning, as he looked out of his window, he saw the little boy. He stood in the farthest corner of the garden, under a tree, quiet, covered with lovely white blossoms. The giant ran out into the garden. He saw prints of 2 nails on the palms of the child's hands and feet. He was so angry that he decided to slay the person who had hurt the child. But the child said that the marks were the wounds of love. As the giant realized who the little child actually was, he fell at his feet. The child smiled and said to him that he had once let him play in his garden, and now he shall take the giant to his garden, called the paradise. Later, when the children came, they found the giant lying dead under the tree, covered with white blossoms. Many times, we tend to become selfish about small things. Being selfish is one of the vices that takes us away from our true friends and loved ones. We can never really enjoy everything just to ourselves. Sharing brings happiness, and we must always try to spread happiness around. We saw how the giant was all alone when he was selfish. He couldn't enjoy the beauty of nature after he had built a wall around his garden to stop the children from coming inside. He could see the spring coming only when he saw the children inside his garden. It prompted him to knock down the wall. He realized that his selfishness had secluded him, had kept him away from others. But sharing gave him happiness and love. So, I hope you enjoyed this story, and like the selfish giant who wasn't selfish anymore, let us too break down the walls of hatred, jealousy, anger, selfishness, stubbornness that is within us, that stops us from being good towards others, and let us spread happiness around us wherever we go. Stay blessed and be a blessing to others. At the end, I want to conclude this chapter with a short video which I would want you all to watch. So it goes like,
my child came and told me, Amma, in our school there is a birthday party. I think there's a birthday party in a big way, I suppose, nowadays. There's a birthday party, my friend's house, they take us to some 5-star restaurant. Some well-off parents can take. There's nothing wrong because everybody has their way of doing birthdays. There's nothing, I will comment on that, going to 5-star hotel is less or not good or nothing of that sort. That is their parents' wish. He went once, I think his classmate's birthday was there, and my child, Rohan, my son, went to birthday party, came and said, Amma, it was so good, and my birthday, I want to take. I said, no, Bill, you can't take. He said, why? I said, Rohan, please remember, how much it will cost, let us talk about it. Each child, let us take 1,000 rupees. You call about 50 people, your class. How much it costs? 50 into 1,000 is how much? 50,000 rupees. He said, Rohan, please remember. I told there was a person who used to come and drive our car. I said, he has 2 children. They are as bright as you are. Okay? Their school fees are probably in those days 10,000. If you give 20,000 to them, they can go to a better school, beta. For your birthday, I am not denying you should not do, etc. I will buy samosa. Okay? I will buy samosa and rasna packet. Or nimbu sharbat, something there. No, mango or drink was there. What is that? Maza, not maza. Fruity. Yeah. Fruity in those days. I am talking about 25 years back. So I will spend for 50 children plus our driver's children, everyone, altogether this much money. More than that, I think you should not spend because what you are doing is wrong according to me. Those 2 children will not go to school, whereas you spend 50,000. And he didn't like it. What I said, he didn't like it. He said, oh, you always give me hishob, that means you always give me plus minus, always a balance sheet. I said, think over it, I will give you 3 days time. And after 3 days, he came back and said, Okay, I agree, but along with samosa, you should give us one gulab jamun or something. I said, fine. Okay? So I told, and in front of him, I gave 10,000 to our driver's children in front, through his hand. I said, Bill, from your account, there is a 50,000 rupees. Out of that, this is the way you have spent. This much money is left, and this you should give it to some good cause. And I used to take my children, when I wash vessels, I used to take my children to wipe them. You have to take your children. Fortunately, I had a job like this, where I go to Lambani tribal area, etc. I used to take my children. Come with me. I can show you they are very good children there. They don't have an opportunity. Is it not your duty? So I used to tell me, you make me so guilty, Amma, to spend any money. And today, because every time he'll bring one case like that. So today he says, Amma, what you did was a fantastic education, that when we spend so much money, we never think of someone else. And that sense of caring for others. For example, we have a cook, and a cook always gets food. So the cooks normally used to eat in the kitchen. I told one day, Rohan, I was talking about equality in life, or some topic, when they become 14, 16, I treated them like adult. Just like adult. At least after 14 boys, after 16, girls also 13 only have to do, 1 year early. I treated them like adults, and we'll have a conversation on a dining table. I talked about equality, and I was talking about slavery in America. Equality is so important in life. Then he said, Amma, if that is equality, will our drivers, will our cook eat on the same table as ours? For a minute, I never thought about it. I said, yeah, why not? And he made it a point, our cooks eat at the same dinner table. But our cooks were hesitating, no, we don't want to eat. Then, I made a samsota, like you can eat after we eat. If you feel like eating, no, you don't want to eat with us, at least you use the dining table and eat on the dining table. It may be a small move, but that made a lot of awareness for my children, equality in life. When he was in our Cornell school, Ron's birthday came, and I was thinking he was abroad in those days, what he will do. I would have been unhappy, this is my subjective opinion, if he spent so much money on a birthday which comes every year. Why waste that kind of money? It is not something like fantastic thing. It is not like we are Mahatma Gandhi born on October 2nd. We are ordinary people. We are just ordinary people. Let us not think that we are too great. If somebody says, oh, what do you think of yourself? I said, I'm a very ordinary person. Very ordinary person, but the situation made me great. The situation made me great. I'm very ordinary than like anybody else. You should bring up this idea with your children's mind. Look, my child, you are ordinary. Just because your father has money or I have money, you are not extraordinary. Money comes due to various reasons. Okay? And money, what you have, has a cost. That I made it to my children in a very young age. And when he was in Cornell, he wrote to me, and I have that email even today. He said, every mother looks after her child, but I'm proud my mother looks after someone's children. Isn't that the best compliment I can think of? He got a scholarship. Then he got a scholarship, and he sent the very little money. He must have had 1 lakh rupee or something, not great money. He wrote to me, Amma, this money should be spent on my birthday to all those Jawans who died in the parliament attack in 2001. They died there so that we can live in free democratic India. It is not a big money. It is not a big money. But that idea of sharing wealth with somebody, idea of being sensitive someone is poor and they have a right to live, and making equality along with our own driver and cook, such ideas you have to initiate to your children. That is very important. Most of the time we don't do that because we think what others will think, what is the status. Suppose my neighbor comes, my cook is eating on the dining table, what they think of us. All those false values, all those tightened compartments we build around what people think. Let them think what they think. You cannot live on people's opinion. You have to live on your own opinion. And that you should understand to tell your children. Children will be, for many years, children will carry your values. Later, once they are married, their wife's value, once they are exposed to different values, that goes on changing. But to some extent, great extent, you can reflect it. Yes, please.